I never thought that a simple moment in the kitchen would change the way I saw myself, my family, and the bonds we share. My name is Daniel Miller, and I live in Denver, Colorado, with my wife Emily. We've been married for nearly 10 years, and through all the ups and downs, she has been my anchor. Life has not always been easy, but our love has carried us through storms that could have broken us apart. Emily has a younger sister, Claire, who lives in Chicago. She's a few years younger than Emily, and while we don't see each other often, I've always considered her part of the family. Claire is independent, strong-willed, and sometimes outspoken, but she has a good heart. Whenever she visited, our home felt livelier, and Emily seemed happier with her around. It was during the spring that Claire came to stay with us for a few weeks. She was going through a difficult time, recovering from a tough breakup and trying to reset her life. Emily suggested that she come to Denver, spend time with us, and get some clarity about her future. I agreed without hesitation because I knew how much Claire meant to Emily. The first week of her stay went smoothly. We ate dinners together, watched movies in the evenings, and even went hiking in the nearby mountains. Claire seemed grateful, though at times she carried a quiet sadness in her eyes, one that she tried to hide behind her bright smile. One Saturday morning, everything shifted in an unexpected way. I had woken up early and gone to the kitchen to make coffee. The house was quiet. Emily was still asleep upstairs, and I was enjoying the silence of the morning. I poured the hot coffee into a mug and leaned against the counter, staring out the window at the faint sunrise. That's when I heard footsteps. Claire walked in, still half asleep, her hair slightly messy, wearing a simple sweatshirt and pajama pants. She looked surprised to see me already awake. "You're up early," she said with a soft smile. "Couldn't sleep," I replied. "Coffee helps." She laughed lightly and grabbed a mug from the cabinet. I poured her a cup, and for a moment, it felt oddly natural, like siblings sharing a quiet morning. But there was also something unspoken in the air, something different. We sat at the kitchen table, sipping coffee. At first, the conversation was light, about the weather, about her plans, about the city she had left behind. But slowly the tone changed. Claire leaned forward, her eyes serious. "Daniel, can I ask you something?" "Of course," I said. "How do you do it? How do you and Emily make marriage work for so long? You both seem so strong together, even when life throws challenges your way." I've never been able to figure that out. Her question caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to have such a deep conversation at 7 in the morning, but I answered honestly. "It's not easy," I admitted. "There are days when Emily and I argue, days when we misunderstand each other. But I think what keeps us together is that we never stop choosing each other. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a decision. Every day, no matter how hard it gets, I choose her. And she chooses me." Claire looked down at her mug, swirling the coffee as if trying to make sense of my words. Her voice was softer when she spoke again. "I wish I had that. I keep falling for the wrong people. Maybe I don't know how to choose the right kind of love." I felt a pang of sympathy for her. She wasn't just talking about a breakup. She was talking about her fear of being alone, her fear of never finding the kind of bond she saw in Emily and me. "You will," I said gently. "Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes heartbreak. But one day, you'll find someone who doesn't just make you feel loved for a moment, but makes you feel safe for a lifetime." She looked up at me, and in that moment, I saw tears in her eyes. Not dramatic tears, but the quiet kind that slip out when you're being vulnerable. She quickly wiped them away and gave me a weak smile. "You always know what to say," she whispered. At that moment, Emily's footsteps echoed from the hallway, and she walked into the kitchen, smiling at us both. "Morning, you two," she said, unaware of the emotional conversation we had just shared. The rest of the day went on as usual, but I couldn't stop thinking about the kitchen moment. Not because anything inappropriate had happened, it hadn't, but because I had seen a side of Claire that I had never seen before. She wasn't just Emily's younger sister. She was a woman searching for hope, trying to heal from her pain. Over the next few days, Claire and I talked more often. Sometimes it was while cooking dinner together, sometimes while driving to the grocery store, sometimes late at night when everyone else was asleep. These conversations became a bridge, helping her rebuild her confidence. But here's the thing. While Claire was learning from me, I was learning from her too. She reminded me of something I had forgotten, that love is fragile, that not everyone is lucky enough to find it easily, and that kindness in small moments can change someone's world. The moment that changed everything came a week later. Emily had invited a few friends over for dinner. The house was full of laughter, music, and the smell of homemade pasta. After everyone had left, Emily went upstairs to rest, exhausted from hosting. I stayed behind to clean the dishes. Claire came into the kitchen quietly, rolled up her sleeves, and started helping me. For a while, we washed dishes in silence, the only sound being the running water and clinking plates. Then she looked at me and said softly, "Thank you, Daniel, for being there when I needed someone to listen. I don't think you realize how much you've helped me." I smiled, but before I could reply, she added, "I know you love my sister more than anything, and I admire that. You've shown me what real love looks like. And one day, I hope I find someone who makes me feel the way you make Emily feel." Her words struck me deeply. They weren't romantic. They were filled with respect and longing for something genuine. At that moment, I realized that everything had changed, not in a scandalous way, but in a meaningful way. Claire wasn't just Emily's sister anymore. She had become a person I admired for her resilience, a person I cared about deeply, not as a partner but as family. And in helping her heal, I had grown too. By the time she left for Chicago 2 weeks later, there was a quiet strength in her eyes. She hugged both Emily and me tightly at the airport, whispering, "Thank you for reminding me what love really means." As I watched her walk away, I felt a sense of peace. Sometimes the most life-changing moments aren't about romance or passion. They're about connection, about being there for someone when they need you most. When I went back home, Emily slipped her hand into mine and smiled. "You've been good for her," she said softly. I squeezed her hand back. "She's been good for me too." That day, I realized that love doesn't just exist between two people. It spreads, it inspires, and it heals. And sometimes, all it takes is a quiet morning in the kitchen to remind us of that.